I'm going to call to order the Wednesday, September 15th, 2021 meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Ms. Chester,
Yes, here.
Mr. Roosh,
Yes.
Mr. Warmbrun,
Here.
and Mr. Welch.
Here, we have a quorum. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No, none.
Then we will now go to approval of the minutes from the July 21, 2021 regular meeting. Have all board members had a chance to familiarize themselves with those minutes? If we have, then I would call for a motion.
I move to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll second.
That motion has been made and seconded. We do this by roll call. Since
Yeah,
we're present.
unfortunately.
Yes, I thought so. Do we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Mr. Welch,
Yes.
Mr. Warmbrun,
Yes.
Mr. Roosh,
Yes.
and Ms. Chester.
Yes.
Minutes are approved. Do we have any communications, Kat?
No communications.
Any continued public hearings?
No.
And at this time, I will call for hearing ZBA 2021-C-02, a request by Nakia McFarland for a conditional use permit to allow a home daycare at 1506 Oglethorpe Avenue in the R2 Single Family Residential Zoning District. May we have a staff report, please?
Yes. This is a request by Nakia McFarland for a conditional use permit to allow a home daycare at 1506 Oglethorpe Avenue. Staff finds that the case meets the criteria for a conditional use permit and recommends that the Zoning Board of Appeals approve the request with 3 conditions. This is a location map of the property. It is located in the Savannah Green subdivision north of Florida Avenue. The applicant has owned the property since 2017 and has been running a home daycare out of the home for the past 4 years. She was unaware of the city requirements for a home occupation permit and a conditional use permit for her type of daycare. So that's why we're going through the process now. A conditional use permit is required in this case because she expects more than 10 customer visits per day, and that exceeds the limitations of a type B home occupation. Type C home occupation permits require a conditional use permit. So that's this case. The daycare is licensed by the Illinois Department of Child and Family Services, and the Savannah Green Homeowners Association has approved of its operation with the approval of this conditional use permit and the home occupation permit. This is a zoning map of the property and the surrounding area. They are all zoned R2 single family residential. This is a photo of the home from Oglethorpe Avenue. As I said earlier, the applicant has run the daycare out of her home for the last 4 years. It operates from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. in 3 separate shifts to accommodate parents who work various hours. The applicant is the primary caregiver, and she has 2 other employees that live outside of the home. Between 6 and 8 children attend the daycare on a daily basis, and there are play areas inside and outside of the home in the fenced-in backyard, and the children have playtime in 30-minute intervals. This is a photo of the play area in the fenced-in backyard, which is also off of the alley on that side of the house. You can see in this photo the alley a little bit better and the 2 parking spaces in the applicant's driveway. This area will be used for pickup and drop off, and on-street parking is available on the east side of Oglethorpe Avenue if additional space is needed. As a condition of approval, staff recommends that no parking, loading, or unloading be permitted in the alley behind the property. and all pickup will take place on the driveway or immediately in front of the house. And this is to help reduce congestion or backup in the alleyway. To summarize, staff found that the application meets the requirements for the requested conditional use permit. The proposed daycare is conducive to the public convenience as it's close to families with children, schools, and public transportation. The daycare is operated on the property for the last 4 years, where it has not been unreasonably injurious or detrimental to the surrounding area. The conditions will help address concerns about blocking the alley, and child drop-off and pickup will take place either in the driveway or in front of the house. And this photo shows the area in front of the house on Oglethorpe. There's parking only on one side of the street. So if additional space was needed, this would be where pickup and drop-off could also happen. The daycare conforms to the zoning district as it's complementary to the residential area and provides childcare to parents who live in and around the neighborhood. As this is a conditional use permit case, the Zoning Board of Appeals has the following options. Approve the conditional use permit, approve the conditional use with any additional conditions as deemed necessary or appropriate for public health, safety, welfare, and to carry out the purposes of the zoning ordinance, or deny the conditional use permit request. Staff recommends that the Zoning Board of Appeals approve the conditional use permit request with 3 conditions. And those are listed in the staff report, but I've also got them on this slide here. The daycare will be limited to 20 visits per day, child drop-off and pickup each count as a visit. So that would be 2 total visits. All drop-off and pickup shall take place in the owner's driveway or immediately in front of the house. No loading or unloading will be permitted in the alley, and the applicant shall not petition the Traffic Commission for a dedicated drop-off or pickup zone. And the conditional use permit shall expire upon transfer of property. So if the property is sold, or after 6 verifiable nuisance complaints within a 12-month period related to operation of the daycare as determined by the zoning administrator. I can take any technical questions. I know that Nakia is also here, so she can make a statement on behalf of the applicant. And thank you.
Thank you, Kat. Are there any questions for staff?
I did have a question. I saw the
Go
recommendation
ahead,
that
Adam.
I saw the recommendation that they should not petition for a designated drop-off. What's the reasoning behind that restriction, and what would be the reason they might ask for one?
So that was actually a recommendation from the Savannah Green Homeowners Association. They have specifically asked that we do not, or that the applicant does not petition the Traffic Commission for a pickup or drop-off zone. And that's because I think there was some concern about congestion in the alleyway. So by minimizing that, by restricting pickup and drop-off either to only the driveway or on Oglethorpe in front of the home, then it minimizes congestion elsewhere in the neighborhood. And if a pickup or drop-off zone were designated, it may be, I think, more difficult for the rest of the neighborhood, as those 2 spaces or 3 spaces in front of the house would be designated specifically for pickup and drop-off. And we just didn't think that was necessary. And I don't think the applicant thinks that's necessary either. But that originally came from the Homeowners Association. So we are applying that as a condition.
Okay.
Are there further questions? Thank you, Kat. Is the applicant or anyone present on behalf of the applicant who wishes to be heard?
Good afternoon.
Hold on, Ms. McFarland. I have to swear you in.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Do you promise or affirm that any testimony you give tonight will be fair and accurate to the best of your belief?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Proceed.
I was just wanting to say that I really love my neighborhood, and I want to first apologize for not being aware of the rules, that go along with it. I've been here 4 years and I wasn't aware of the rules. And I don't never want to break rules, but I really love my neighborhood and I love my kids and my parents. And I've been actually doing this for almost 18 years. And I moved to Urbana because my parents live in Urbana and it's convenient for my parents. And I would be gratefully appreciative and thanking the Lord if you guys see me with the approval so that I can continue to be a help for these parents and, let them learn and grow and be of a vessel to people. And I thank you for giving me a chance to speak.
Thank you, Ms. McFarland. Are there any questions for Ms. McFarland? Hearing none. Are there any additional questions or comments for staff or any member of the board wish to be heard? And I believe we're ready to call for the question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll move that the zoning board approve ZBA 2021-C-02 with the following conditions. 1, the daycare will be limited to 20 visits per day. A child drop-off and pickup count as 2 visits. Number 2, all drop-offs, pickups shall take place in the owner's driveway or immediately in front of the home. No loading or unloading will be permitted in the alley. The applicant shall not petition the traffic commission for a dedicated drop-off pickup zone. Number 3, the conditional use permit shall expire upon transfer of the property or after 6 verifiable nuisance complaints within a 12-month period related to operation of the daycare as determined by the zoning administrator.
Thank you. It has been so moved. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments in regards to that? Hearing none, then I believe we are ready to call for the question.
Yes. Ms. Chester,
Yes.
Mr. Warmbrown,
Yes.
Mr. Roosh,
Yes.
and Mr. Welch.
Yes, that motion that motion carries and the conditional use permit is approved and no further action is needed since it's conditional use permit. Thank you and good luck, Ms. McFarland. Is there any old business, Kat?
None.
Any new business?
None.
Okay. Is there a staff, we're going to skip the audience participation question. Is there a staff report?
I'm pretty sure you're all aware, but I'll just state it once again. Lori Pearson left the city this week. Her last day was yesterday. And Sheila Dodd will be the interim Community Development Services Director for the time being.
Thank you for that information. Is there a study session?
No.
Then I believe we are ready to adjourn unless someone has an objection. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.